Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 6 of our 10-part series, 10 Days to a Better Company. My name is Bill Giannone, and I welcome you to the Crest Network, and I welcome you to the second week of our 2-week series. Today, we're going to be talking about marketing costs. That's an area of our company where a lot of us don't really understand too much about what's going on, but it's a very important aspect of how our company functions. In many companies, I consider people's marketing habits to be very similar to people who are just throwing darts. They go to a bar and they get involved in a dart contest. Now, they don't practice, they don't plan, they just kind of throw it against the wall. They know they're going to get some points and they're hoping that they might just luck into a bullseye. So they don't really put much work into their skill set. That's kind of how a lot of companies that I'm familiar with treat their marketing costs. They just spend money in every direction without a clear plan or without really working on those expenses. Great companies, however, will understand everything about their marketing efforts. They'll understand who they're marketing to. They will direct their efforts at targets that can give them business. For instance, if you're a company that does a lot of residential water restoration, you obviously should be targeting a lot of your marketing efforts towards plumbers and maybe brokers and agents, people who get those kinds of phone calls regularly when a homeowner floods their home. It wouldn't make sense if you're not a company that does a lot of large loss to be marketing yourself to hotel managers or to property managers for large condo complexes. That just wouldn't make sense. Great companies also focus how they market. They put together a defined, cohesive plan for maximum return. They make sure that every day there is an effort that's directed towards an ultimate goal. They don't just basically hire a marketer and say, go out and find me business. They put a true plan together. Now, for those of you on the commercial side, you understand that the Crest Network absolutely develops and helps you institute a very cohesive, targeted plan of action for your marketing. Finally, great companies know how much they're going to spend. Every single penny is allocated before it's spent. It's not enough to sit there and look at the money at the end of the month and turn around and say, okay, I guess I did okay on that, or I guess I did fine on that investment, or, well, I guess we spent that much money. We should be knowing what we're spending beforehand. Now, the most important part of marketing is knowing what you're going to get back. You don't want to put in something effort until you have a reasonable responsibility and knowledge of what you're going to get back. The only way to judge your success is to know your ROI. ROI, for those of you who don't know, stands for return on investment. A couple easy steps to do that. Let's calculate every marketing expense. Okay, when I say that, I mean every penny. Let's talk about the marketer's salary, their benefits, including commissions, any kind of expense accounts or allowances that you're giving to them, the use of their vehicle. Those are all expenses for marketing. Let's talk about what you're doing on your website or on your electronic side. SEO, search engine optimization, PPC, pay per click, or your website expenses if you're doing any kind of Google expenditures or Facebook ads, things that are costing you money. Let's make sure we calculate all of those expenses. If you're hiring some sort of website designer or website planner or a monthly service that does all of that work for you, including your social media contracts and accounts. Let's make sure we calculate all of those. Let's throw in our entertainment costs if we're taking people out to dinner, if we have season tickets or golf memberships, anything that we're spending money on in those regards, any kind of organizations that we belong to, if we belong to a BNI, if we belong to chambers of commerce, if we belong to plumbers groups, property management organizations, all of those expenses, subscriptions to IFMA, BOMA, all those different groups, everything needs to count because those monies are being spent specifically as marketing costs. Please calculate them very accurately. Then let's also remember we have tchotchke materials, we have promotional stuff, giveaways, shirts, pads, coffee mugs, all of those. Let's get those costs, know what every single cost is. Once we have all those, let's just do the math. We already have our gross revenue number from last week. So let's take that gross revenue number and divide into it our marketing expense number. The answer gives you your ROI. For instance, if you've done $1 million of business in the last year and you've calculated that it cost you $100,000 in marketing expense, then your ROI would be 10. You would get 10 times your return on your marketing expense. Okay, the next question I'm always asked is, what is a good ROI for marketing? Well, in our experience at the Crest Network, good companies have a marketing ROI of at least 12 times. So for every $1,000 you're spending, let's have an ROI of at least $12,000. If you're spending $100,000 in marketing, you should have a minimum gross revenue of $1.2 million. That's a really good rule of thumb, no matter how large or small your company is. Now, we're talking about restoration companies that predominantly do mitigation business. I'm not talking about construction companies where the margins are a lot smaller. For those, you wouldn't want to have a 12 ROI because you're not really getting back enough. If you're spending 8% of your gross revenue on on marketing, and you're predominantly a reconstruction company, then your profit margin on your gross profit is not high enough to justify that kind of expense. We're talking about traditional water damage restoration companies. I want to thank you for joining us for day 6. We look forward to hearing back from you on any comments you might have. And we definitely want you to join us next time for day 7, where we're going to start looking at your fixed costs. This is Bill Giannone on behalf of the Crest Network. Thanks so much and have a great day.